I was very surprised by the breadth of the decision. It's a broad decision. It didn't give us the partial victory that we were afraid, we might get. It basically said discrimination because of sex includes discrimination based on gender identity or sexual orientation. And he didn't look at the meaning of what that might mean at the time that the legislation was passed. He said, our job is to look at the plain language, the ordinary meaning of the text of Title VII and interpret that. And he did that, and it was a broad decision. I mean, he basically said, if changing the employee's sex would have yielded a different choice by the employer, a statutory violation has occurred. Breathtaking.
I was also surprised that Gorsuch wrote the opinion, although less so as I reflect back on the oral arguments. But the fact that this opinion is grounded in textualism, right, as Carolyn just said, explains to some extent why, and he didn't do what Alito and Kavanaugh were pressing him to do in their dissents. And they said, wait, you need to look at how reasonable people would have understood this term in 1964 when Title VII was adopted. And he said, no, we look at the language of the statute, right? Justice Kavanaugh said that he was being too literal in his approach to textualism and that he needed to be more contextual. But clearly the court did not do that.
I think one of the things that was most surprising about Gorsuch authoring the 6-3, like not even a 5-4, but a 6-3 majority opinion with no concurrences either, was the way that he adopted the language that the LGBTQ community, and particularly that trans attorneys have really spent a lot of time and energy trying to craft. So every time he referred to Amy Stevens, he used the right pronouns for Amy. He used the language sex assigned at birth, which helps people, to better understand what gender identity is. And I think even the textual arguments were ones that were, closely crafted by attorneys, including at the ACLU, but there were transgender attorneys that were part of crafting that strategy. There's even a National Trans Bar Association now that I'm a member of, and this just feels like a real important recognition of the legitimacy or humanity even of trans people.